Men, welcome in. Spontaneous, probably a messy training, but I'm going to give you some real insights today. These insights, when I got taught these, and I started figuring these things out myself, changed my life, right? This is the six subconscious prisons that we run as guys, and likely, highly freaking likely, sabotages the way we show up in our relationships, sabotages the way of the amount of money we make, sabotages our business growth, our career growth. It will fuck us up until we figure this stuff out. I can tell you, we can have the best vision, the best direction possible, the clearest vision possible. However, if our self-concept and our internal prison is fucking us up, we will not hit the vision. We'll find a way to smash it. We'll find a way to break it. We'll find a way to sabotage it. And I'm going to talk through six core. We have plenty of prisons. We have plenty of structures that mess us up. However, these are the core prisons that when I started working on this, hands down, kid you not, I had energetic releases. My hands were sweaty. I had vibrations going through my head. I had blurry vision. I had energetic releases when I started to figure out these structures and when I got taught these structures myself. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to share my screen. It is a little bit messy. I've got some notes on my phone, right? But what you're looking for, men, is an insight. You're looking for insights. Insights can change your life. Information, you can read fucking 50 books in a year and it just be a gathering of information. You just become a librarian of the mind, book after book after book after book. You are looking for personal insight for yourself. Once you get that, you can do something with it, right? And it can absolutely change your life. It doesn't have to be this huge, like years worth of excavation to go deep into your psyche to figure this stuff out. It really doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes it is, right? Doesn't have to be that way. I can tell you that because I'm proof of that. Right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to talk through this model. Right, there we go. Share, get that in. This is a model that I created and has served me very powerfully, and it serves a lot of the guys that I take through personally. So today we're going to talk through stage number one. There are three stages to the model, right? And essentially, once you unlock all these three stages, we gain these things here. Freedom. And I like three forms of freedom: financial freedom, time freedom, relationship freedom, right? Today, this is where we're focusing. And my method here is once you unlock what's going on inside, once you unlock these prisons, and we start really dismantling and excavating what's going on in your psyche. Because here's the thing, like consciously, you can go, well, I want a super intimate relationship. I want a level 10 out of 10 relationship. I want to feel absolutely powerful when I'm turning up in my relationships. I want all the money. I want financial freedom. I want a great business. I want time freedom, whatever. You can, consciously, you can say that and you can want that and you can think about that. But your conscious is 5%. Your subconscious is 95%. So that 95%, if that's working against you because there's a prison that is essentially going against what you want because it thinks that's what you want, then you're never going to get all the things that you're consciously thinking about. Right? You have to dismantle this. You have to excavate it. Once you start getting this right, I like to go on to something like, I like to think into your self-concept, essentially your identity. The way we do this is future self. This is really thinking about not just the how, but the who you need to be in 10 years' time, the who you need to be in 5 years' time. Like, who is that man down to the nuance, the way he feels, the way he acts, the way he behaves, what his beliefs are, and so forth. Boy to man, super, super important. I'm in my late 30s. Honestly, when I got to into my 30s, I was a fucking boy in a man's body. Very, very boyish behavior, even though I'm in my 30s. And even now, I can see it massively now where there be areas in my relationship or even areas in my business where I'm like, that's a fucking boyish behavior. Even though I'm a 37-year-old man, I'm acting like a 21-year-old. It's essentially it's extended adolescence. And many men, most men go through this. 45-year-old man, his missus rejects him for sex. He gets pissed off, rolls over, and acts like a child. That sort of thing, right? 45-year-old man running a business, he's doing okay at it, and he's focusing on things like admin, for example, right? He shouldn't be doing that. He should be focusing on higher level activities. Okay. It's like boyish behavior, right? Whereas a man wouldn't do that. He'd get on with what he needs to get on with. He'll get on with the high level things. If his missus rejects him, just brush it off, get playful, right? That's what a man would do. A boy reacts. Okay. And then the third part is your values. Super important. If you're not crystal clear on what your values are, not surface level values, your deep intrinsic values, because essentially your values then extend into your standards. Your standards are your needs, right? This is how you live your life. You live your life for for your values, and then your values dictate your standards. And it's like, well, this is my life, right? And if anyone essentially oversteps your standards, then you fuck them off. You get them out of your life. However, most guys don't do that because they're people pleasing, nice guys, and will let people cross their boundaries. Will let people betray them, even betray themselves, and then constantly go in this loop of just not being happy or not being fulfilled. It's because you're not living your life through your values, right? And then third place here is strategy, right? This is getting super crystal clear and essentially building mastery in your wealth, in your masculinity, and in your intimate relationships. Mega important. Today, we're going to start on number one, the prisons, your problems, and your projections. Essentially, what a prison is typically they're structures that are formed 95% of the time in our childhood, right? We'll form these structures. These may well be from small events, we call them small traumas, or even big events, capital T traumas, big traumatic events, right? These form the way that we view the world. They form a structure in our mind. This prison goes into a problem. A problem is the way that we sabotage. Okay, a problem is the way that we sabotage. So we may have I'm going to talk through 6 core prisons in a minute, and it will make a lot more sense. But just so you understand the concept of a prison, a problem, and a projection, and how that works. So we have a structure, which is a prison, a mental construct that's going on in our subconscious, in our psyche. This then forms a form of self-sabotage. Maybe we procrastinate. All right. Maybe we get angry. Maybe we do things that fuck up what we want to achieve. All right. A form of self-sabotage. We then project that onto the world. All right. It becomes our perception, it becomes our projection. So we project, it's the way we vocalize, we talk it out into the world, and then we act that into the world. Okay. And because we're acting that out into the world, we're then reinforcing the problem because we make the problem come true. So we actually act that sabotage. And then in doing so, we reinforce the prison. That creates a pattern. And this pattern then repeats over and over and over again. And we don't really realize it's happening, right? Just things won't be the way you want them to be. You might be playing life at a level 4, level 5, and you know you've got level 10 potential in the bag, and you just fucking can't get there. That's because of these subconscious patterns that you're repeating over and over and over, right? Makes sense? Hope that makes sense. I'm going to talk through the 6 patterns now, and then I almost guarantee you'll be running 4 or 5 of them, right? Most of us are running multiple patterns, multiple prisons, some just way stronger than others. All right, so let's stop the share. Right. Probably worth you getting a pen and paper or use your iPhone, write some notes. when I talk through these prisons. So, prison number one, there's something wrong with me. Prison number one is there's something wrong with me. This prison is built around shame, right? It's the prison of shame. It's I am flawed. There's something wrong with me. Something's wrong, right? And this prison, deeply, deeply ingrained, right? That there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with me. I've done something wrong. It the this essentially is a belief, right? The belief leads to this constant self-judgment, constant over-analyzing. Every single thing that you do, every single mistake that you might make, you'd over-analyze that, right? And then feel shame around it. And these prisons, typically, they're built in, like I said, in our childhood, they're formed in our childhood, and they're typically formed from our caregivers, our teachers, authority figures, teachers at school, parents, people that brought us up, role models, that sort of thing. And it's if when we've been in contact with these people and they have criticized us or consistently corrected us, right? We then form this belief that there must be something wrong with us. Right. So it's just reinforced through these like repeated experience of I am not good enough. Right. Makes sense. This unconscious program will just run in the background. Right. And then it will control your behaviors, it will control your emotions, it will control your self-perception, it will control the way that you look at life. Right. And like I said earlier, this prison creates a problem. So you sabotage, it then creates your projection, your perception. It just creates it's your filter. It's the way that you look at life, that something is wrong with you. But you won't know you're doing this. It'll be very, very subconscious. Okay. Right. Let me get my notes here on how this turns up in your relationships. So you'll doubt your decisions. You'll doubt your decisions in relationships. You'll doubt your decisions in your business. You'll overthink. You'll overwork. Overwork is a really, really big one for this. And anything that you'll avoid big risks. You'll avoid big risks in the fear that it will fail. You'll fear that something's going to go wrong with it. So you'll avoid taking risks here. Right? And then you'll overanalyze everything. In relationships, it's likely that you might feel unworthy. You might feel unworthy of love. You might feel unworthy of acceptance, and you'll consistently seek validation. In careers, in your business, in your career, you may well overcompensate, and because you want people to feel that you're worthy, and so you'll overwork. Or you'll try and do things to impress your colleagues, your clients, your contractors, the C-suite, whatever. You're trying to do things to impress them because you want them to see your worth. Right? And just internally for yourself, your own like self-worth, it's a constant battle of self-judgment, right? This is prison number one. There's something wrong with me. Prison of shame. Okay. And when I'm talking through these prisons, just feel like if anything comes up for you, feel that it might come up in your throat, it might come up in your solar plexus, might come up in your heart region, might come up in your head. Just feel if there's anything energetically there for you, or it's like it's pissing you off, it's triggering you, or it's discomfort, feels disgusting, then that is a sign that it's maybe something for you, right? Something to look into. Right. Prison number two is I don't matter. I don't exist. This is the invisibility prison. Invisibility. I don't matter. I don't exist. Right. It's just like when you're a child, imagine your little boy or little girl, if you're a girl watching this, but it's probably men, and you're at a kid's party and nobody notices you. Yeah, you try to say hello to people, you wave, you try to talk to people. It just feels like you're invisible. No one's noticing you, no one's paying attention to you, no one sees you, right? That's what this is like. I don't matter, I don't exist. It's a deep belief, deep rooted disease that existence that nobody sees you, nobody hears you. These are thoughts in your mind, right? And to be honest, like the way that this will show up for you like a constant seeking of external validation, like the need for others to see you and for you to be seen by others. So it's constantly seeking external validation. You might overcompensate by being loud, right? Overcompensate by wanting to achieve a lot, or people pleasing, right? Just to get attention. When you don't get recognized, you might feel resentful, right? Maybe that turns up in in your relationship. You're doing things in your relationship and you want the other person to see what you're doing for them, and that they don't recognize it, they don't recognize your effort, and then you might feel resent afterwards, right? There's a consistent struggle of never feeling full, never feeling fulfilled, never feeling truly satisfied, and always wanting to crave more love, more success, more attention, right? This will absolutely you'll absolutely experience self-sabotage in relationships. You'll either be very, very clingy, right? Or completely withdraw, one or the other, right? And because of that, it will sabotage relationships. There'll be push-pull in relationships, push-pull, or so clingy, so needy, right? It will sabotage the relationship. Okay. Because you just constantly want to be seen, right? This is the cycle of how this works is it's mad how this works. Here's the cycle. So you'll have a feeling of emptiness, right? Stage number one, a feeling of emptiness. That feeling of emptiness will lead to starvation. Starvation leads to deprivation. Deprivation leads to craving. So you craving something, right? It then leads to you doing something. You're starving, you're deprived, you feel empty, you're craving something. So then you'll go out and you'll try and fill that. You try and get full. Okay. So you go and maybe achieve something or try to achieve something in your business, try to achieve something in your life, in your relationship. It will give you this temporary fullness. You'll feel you for a minute or for an hour or for a day, you'll feel like your cup's full up. You feel good, but it's temporary. You then go back to the feeling of feeling empty. And then you go back to the start, emptiness, starvation, deprivation, craving, temporary fulfillment, and back and back and back. And it just repeats, right? The real key to actually cracking this is being authentic. It's authenticity. Okay. Um, typically like how this is built is, like I said earlier, is you being ignored, right? And how it might affect you is your ability to really speak up, whether that's speaking up in a relationship or speaking up in a business. It will really, really affect you showing up powerfully and saying what you truly want and really expressing your needs, right? That's how it will show up. You might avoid leadership or leadership roles, and you'll absolutely downplay your abilities. In relationships, how this might show up is that you may well appear passive, and just avoid conflict, right? Avoid conflict at all costs and not truly asserting your needs. In career or your business, you may well miss promotions or you miss big key business opportunities. You miss leadership opportunities. Ultimately, to stay unseen. This is the key here, just because you just subconsciously want to stay unseen, right? And from a self-worth perspective, is you feel like your presence doesn't really matter. You feel like you don't really have much of an impact, right? It's a fucking shitty little prison, this. Okay, so that's prison number two. Let's go. Prison number three. Oh, this is a deep one. The prison of rejection. This is I am not wanted. The prison of I am not wanted. Same. Go back to the scenario of little boy. So say you're going to a kid's party, right? And you're there, there's all the other kids there, you're playing a game with all the other kids, and you're really trying to fit in. But no matter what you do, you always feel like you just don't belong. You feel like all the kids are just pushing you away from the game. And the thing is with this is over time, you start to push yourself away too. This is why it's called the prison of rejection. This is a subconscious structure that you build around rejection of I am not wanted, I don't belong, I'm not good enough. And because of this belief, you'll always look for signs that people are rejecting you. You'll overanalyze everything and just look for where you are being rejected, even when they're not, right? And the worst thing about it is that you will reject yourself before anyone else can, right? Typically, like how this sort of structure is built is, again, going back to your childhood when your caregivers, if you were dismissed, often dismissed for expressing any form of emotion, super, super young, even when you're crying, right? Little 4-year-olds crying, you go, stop crying. Hey, stop crying. Stop doing that, right? Stop being angry. This like suppresses and dismisses your emotions, right? So it just makes you feel like you're not wanted, right? Maybe teachers at school favored other kids over you, or your friendship groups, maybe friends left you out, right? Even like I remember like back in the day when I used to play football, we used to like, and all the kids was like line up. Yeah. And they go, yeah, I'll have you and my team, you and my team, you and my team. You're like the last person that's picked. Like those things as a small child can absolutely affect your structure. You build a structure around that. All right. This will come up. So the way this will show up in your adult life is people pleasing, right? You're constantly trying to make people happy, other people happy. And even if that means sacrificing your own needs, and you'll absolutely struggle to say no. No will feel fucking awkward for you. You will not want to say no. You essentially say yes to things you don't want to say yes to, right? To essentially please other people, right? You fucking feel exhausted all the time because you're constantly going against your narrative. Well, it's a narrative that you've created. It's a prison, but it's not true to your authenticity. So you feel exhausted, right? And you begin to resent the things that you're saying yes to. The other way this will show up is that you'll push away good opportunities. You'll push away great relationships because you know deep down that at some stage you're going to be rejected. So what you'll do is you'll push them away so you can reject them, or you'll push them away so they can reject you quicker. Right? You know at some stage that they're going to reject you because that's all you've ever known. So you'll find a way to sabotage the relationship. You'll find a way to sabotage the business. Like if someone gets too close to you, you might create drama, you'll create chaos, right? Or you'll run off, you'll disappear. But quite often is you'll subconsciously find a reason to create chaos and drama so that it sabotages the relationship, so then the other person rejects you. So you essentially you're expecting rejection. So you'll find a way to make it happen. Right. The weapon of this prison is shame. You'll feel like after these things happen, you'll feel deep shame. You'll feel that you're not good enough, right? And you have to prove your worth. And then how this might, like, when it comes to your intimate relationships, you might actually go after partners that are unavailable, right? And so because they are unavailable, they essentially reject you for love because they're just not going to give you the love. So you'll go out seeking that because you know at a subconscious level that they're going to reject you anyway. They're not going to give you the love that you want, right? There may well be a fear of being abandoned, so you'll get really, really clingy, right? Or you push them away, right? And trust is a big in relationships. Trust is a big thing here. Like because of that fear of rejection, at some stage they're going to reject you. then you'll really, really struggle to truly, truly trust them, even if they're a super trustworthy person and they're not going to hurt you. You'll find a way not to trust them. Right? In your career, it, fear of taking risks. So you're always playing small, right? Always staying at a level that's super comfortable for you, right? Just in case you just go outside the parapet, right? You raise above the bar and then you get rejected. You'll have a big fear about taking those big risks, right? But however, always overwork yourself to prove your worth, right? And you'll avoid leadership positions. You'll avoid like high visibility roles, just in case like you in the spotlight. Then because if you're in the spotlight, you can then be exposed and then be potentially rejected, which is then painful, right? How it affects your self-worth is if someone gives you a compliment, you'll struggle to accept that. If they compliment your success, you'll really struggle to accept it. You're just like bat it off, or give them a compliment back instead, like palm it back onto them. Internally, you'll be your own worst critic. Your inner critic, the voice inside your head, is going to be fucking tormenting you all the time, and you'll just consistently repeat self-sabotaging behaviors, and it will make you feel so unworthy. It's a big one. Rejection is a big one, particularly for men, particularly for us guys. Like abandonment comes up more for women, rejection comes up more for men. It's a really, really big one for guys. Okay, number four, prison number four is the prison of control. The the you wanting control or you being controlled, right? I need to control everything, and I cannot stand anyone else controlling me. I cannot stand being controlled, yet I need to control everything. This prison is based around fear. This will create two dominant patterns. So number one, being controlled, right? So this is and being controlled is like the need to manipulate, force, or dominate situations or people because you want to be in control, right? And this won't be malicious. It's unlikely it's going to be malicious. Okay. However, it will be there, right? And you find a ways to manipulate situations because you don't want to let go of control. Right. The second way this shows up is being controlled. Right. This is the feeling of being powerless, of being submissive, or just at constant mercy to others. Right. These are both deep rooted in authority structures from your childhood. Right. So again, going back to your childhood, authority figures like your parents, teachers, even like brothers and sisters, right? If they were overly strict, overbearing, even abusive, um, you may well have developed this structure of I must control everything to feel safe, right? Or if you had real chaotic, inconsistent, or actually just weak authority figures, so no, like real strong masculine or strong feminine role models, you may well have developed a belief that you're powerless, like I am powerless, and then others control me, right? And so we just model that during our adulthood, essentially. Makes sense, right? This is a big one for men, like wanting to control everything, even control the fucking weather, right? Relationships, how this will show up in your relationship is that if you are a controller, you'll try to dominate your partner. You'll create rules and you'll also control you will try to control emotional distance. So you'll just keep them at a slight distance just so you can control the narrative. All right. Don't let them get too close because if they get too close, it fucking hurt me. So I'm going to control this. Okay. If you're being controlled, you'll attract partners who will just make the decisions for you. Right. You'll attract partners who avoid conflict and they would essentially create this like toxic dynamic of feeling trapped. Okay. In your career, in your business, um, if you're a controller, you'll struggle to delegate. You'll want to do everything yourself and you'll micromanage everything, right? In doing so, though, you fucking burn out, right? And you absolutely limit the business growth and you limit your career growth if you're just trying to do everything yourself. That is not possible. If you are being controlled, so subconsciously you like to be controlled, you'll stay in jobs that unfulfill you, right? Because you'll want to people please. And so even though you don't like doing the work, you'll stay doing it. You feel powerless and you just avoid any form of leadership. Um, from a self-worth perspective, you'll measure your worth by how much you can control. It's a bitch. You'll measure your worth by how much you can control, right? And the controller, or sorry, the controlled, right? The people that are controlled will measure their worth by how much others are approving them, right? This is a big one for guys. Huge one. Same with prison number three, rejection. Prison number four, being controlled or I want to control everything. It's huge. Appears a lot. It appeared in me massively. I used to be a fucking control freak, everything. Still, to a degree, still there. However, I've let go of a lot of that by doing this sort of work, right? And understanding these prisons. Right. Let's check my notes. See anything else I've missed? Okay, prison number five. Prison number five is I can't trust anyone. This is the prison of mistrust. I can't trust anyone. I am not safe. Mistrust. People cannot be trusted. I am not saved. I have to protect myself at all costs, right? Again, deeply wired into your subconscious, and it will dictate how you as a man will approach your relationships, your business, your self-worth. For some guys, it will create hyper independence. So it means you never ask for help. You never want to rely on other people. You just no, I'll do it all myself. And then for others, it will create extensive paranoia, real defensiveness, right? You're just expecting someone to betray you. And at its core, this prison, this structure, can keep you as a man closed off, right? Emotionally, you put walls up, put barriers up, put your guards up, and ultimately it just lead to disconnection, disconnect from yourself, a disconnect from you and others, right? How this was built, going back to your childhood again, early experiences. So early experiences of betrayal or neglect. Parents that or caregivers, teachers that were just inconsistent, abusive, dismissive, or where moments of trust were broken, right? If you were lied to as a young child, or if you were abandoned or manipulated and you found that out, right? Moments of mistrust, then this is going to start to form this structure. Um, Another one here is that where, as a young child, you may well have been vulnerable and it led to pain, right? So then it just locked the trust away. And what a man will do is he'll internalize this belief system, this nervous system code that if I trust, I get hurt. If I open up, I get betrayed, right? In relationships, so how this will show up in your relationships is that you struggle with vulnerability and emotional intimacy, right? You're healthy relationships, you'll find a way to sabotage it because you go, hang on a minute, I've got fear of betrayal here. I don't trust them. I'll find a way to sabotage it, even if the relationship is beautifully healthy, right? And there's also relationships either like being like hyper controlling, or completely avoidant, like completely avoiding dating or marriage. In business careers, how this will show up, um, you don't trust your partners, you don't trust your employees, you don't trust your clients, you don't trust them, or you don't trust them to do the work. And so you'll overwork because no one else can do it as well as me. Right. Your fear signing contracts, your fear commitments, your fear investing in others. Okay. How it affects your self-worth. is constantly just being on this edge of defensiveness or constantly just being closed off, right? You'll avoid deep friendships, you'll avoid mentorship, you'll avoid coaching because everyone has an agenda. Oh, yeah. And essentially what that will lead to is you're feeling isolated, you're feeling lonely. But you'll believe that it's safer to be that way, right? Because the structure, the prison is I am not safe. So by feeling or being isolated and lonely, you go, well, actually, it's safer for me to do that, which is which is not right. Right. This is illogical. Okay. Prison number six, the last prison, fear of loss. The prison of loss. This is the prison of scarcity. I will lose everything. It's a if I lose this, I won't be okay. I must hold on to what I have, or I'm going to suffer. All right. If I lose this, I won't be okay. So this is the fear of loss prison. Okay. Again, it's a big one. All six are big. And like I said, most of them will probably be showing up at some level in your life. Right. In relationships, and money, it will create attachment. So attachment to relationship, attachment to money, attachment to status, attachment to identity. So instead of living freely and living authentically, you live in a constant state of anxiety, right? Essentially fearing losing things, right? Fearing losing love, fearing losing your money, fearing losing relationship, fearing losing status. How this prison is built, right? Again, early experiences. So this could be early experiences of loss, early experiences of abandonment, early experiences of like disconnection. Um, if like you maybe if you even lost a parent or lost someone close to you, or lost someone that was like at a young age that was close friend, close family, you may pick the belief up that nothing is safe and that everything that you love actually disappears. I had that. I lost my best friend. Not actually in my childhood, but like, lost him when I was 24. And I absolutely formed this belief that I'd lose things. I'd lose the people that are closest to me. Right. And then and then that led to control because I wanted to control everything. Okay. So I want to control the people around me so they wouldn't leave me. Or what I would do is like create this emotional distance. So I wouldn't get so close to them because I learned that when I love someone, they leave me. Right. Fear of loss. In relationships, like how this will show up like in an adult world, like in our world now, relationships, is that you might cling to your partners out of the fear, right? So you don't cling to them out of love. You're not with them out of love, you're with them out of fear. And you'll stay in toxic dynamics because leaving them feels scarier than actually suffering, right? Or you might manipulate or overperform to prevent the loss. So might do things that you don't want to necessarily do, uh, overly nice, overly people pleasing to prevent them from leaving you. In your career, in your business, you might well attach your self-worth to money, status, to career titles, right? The overworking kicks in there, but like the belief is that if I slow down, I'll lose everything. If I slow down, I'll lose it. This massively happens when you start making loads of money. If you get a lot of money come into your life, we start making more money. Like it can't fuck if I what happens if I lose it all, right? Hugely, like, I know that come up for me, and that comes up for lots of guys that do exits on businesses or they start making more money. Fuck, what happens if I start losing this? You'll start to resist change and you'll resist opportunities, right? Because of that fear of the unknown or the potential fear of loss, of scarcity, you won't be taking new opportunities, right? For self-worth for you, you might feel like that if you stop achieving things, then you are nothing, right? Terrified of stillness, can never sit still, right? Because without without doing things, without going out and achieving things, then who even are you? Okay. Oh, you only feel valuable. Just got one written down there. You only feel valuable when you're accumulating more. Right, team. They're the prisons. They're the six prisons. That, like I said, there's hundreds of prisons, right? But these are six core prisons that us guys will likely be running, right? And the sooner that you start to get a hold of these and realize that how they are affecting your life personally, the sooner you could begin to dismantle them, excavate them, figure out why they're there, exactly how it's controlling your life, and then we essentially dissolve them. This is the work that I do with guys personally. I do this one-on-one with guys. I do it in a group too, because all of us are, like, you will see that I've just talked through six prisons, right? And it's highly, highly likely that you've been able to relate to many of that and go, yeah, that applies in my life, that applies in my life. And hopefully there's been some form of insight there for you. Us guys are not unique. However, we do have our unique circumstances, but the actual structures, they're not unique, right? But the sooner you get to figure this stuff out and figure how it applies to you and how these prisons and structures are not serving us. They're not serving you. They are not logical for you as an adult. Maybe they were logical for you as a small child. Absolutely, because it kept you safe. But now you're a man, and it's so freaking important that you dismantle these and dissolve these, right? Team, there you go, men. If you want my personal help in seeing how this affects you personally, so it's more tailored to you, reach out to me. There's some button somewhere where you can message me personally or fill in a form, and then we can have a conversation, all right? How I can dismantle this and dissolve it, and then take you through my whole model, right? Men, appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the watch. There'll be a PDF somewhere where you can download it too, where you can see more of this in writing too. All right, men, catch you soon.